Okay, good afternoon, everyone. For our 3 o'clock session, we are again going to have a lecture on lesson 9, which is on snap bean production. So since some of you cannot come in, so I will just start. Snap bean, or known as Physalis vulgaris, is also called as bagu bean or habichuelas or French bean, green bean, string bean, and kidney bean and haricot bean. And it is the most widely cultivated na vegetable legumes in the Philippines. In fact, it's very common in our Filipino daily dishes, no? And the term snap pertains to uh, the manner by which the young pods are used as a vegetable by snapping them to smaller pieces. That's why it's called snap beans. And it also refers to the lower fiber content in snap beans. So, yung fiber nila is low lang compared to the dry bean pods, which are tougher and grown only for the dry seeds. So there are two types of snap beans grown in Cordillera. We have the um the pole type, which is more preferred by the farmers in Benguet, and the bush type, which is of course preferred by Mount Province and Ifugao farmers. So snap bean is grown for over 3,000 hectares in Benguet province by 13,000 more farmers according to statistics of 2006. So for the uses, and it has a lot of uses actually. No, it can we used to cook it as a vegetable. It can be steamed, sautéed, battered, or cooked along with other vegetables. And each 100 grams portion contains 90 grams water, 36 energy, 2 grams protein, very low in fat, carbohydrate, fiber, ash, calcium. It's higher in calcium and phosphorus, low in iron, but higher in vitamin A, and also low vitamin riboflavin niacin, but high in ascorbic acid. So the certain varieties for the pole type are the bagu beans, the alno or black valentine, Norman, stringless, blue lake, patig, kaki, and kanaya. But for the bush type, we have bush, blue lake, labrador, and matador. And another pole type are the Redford, Burick, Chemi, Black, Kentucky, Black Condor, Kentucky Gondor, Mahayo, Mayabong, B21, and Taichung. So for the soil and climate requirements, it's just grows best in medium to high um, high elevation, no? So it can be grown in lowland at saka upland. 3 p.m. Okay, so it can also be grown in low elevation areas and during cool dry months, but the yields tend to be lower and the ponds are more fibrous. So usually in high elevation areas, it can grow at 18 to 29 degrees Celsius, and temperatures above 32 degrees Celsius will cause blossom drop and deform pods. So planting usually done during month of October and November para higher yung percentage of pod set, and it thrives best in well-drained clay loam soil rich in organic matter with pH from 5.5 to 7.5. So again, for the land, it has to be plowed and harrowed 2 to 3 times, and it can be sown for single row planting with 0.75 to 1 meter apart, and double row planting with 1 meter and 0.2 meter high raised beds. So you should dig shallow holes 0.3 meter between hills and mix well decomposed animal manure or complete fertilizer during bed preparation. So you can see this one. along with the video presentation later. So another important cultural practice for string beans or stamp beans is mulching. No, you can use plastic mulch or yung mga plant debris as mulch to conserve soil moisture as well as to suppress the weeds. So after making the raised beds and incorporating manure, you can apply the plastic mulch with the silver side up. And to ensure lang ha. Yeah. And to ensure ano rin. Oh, sorry. Nawala ko. So, to ensure that the plastic is well stretched, apply during the hotter part of the day. No? Kaya mas inat siya kung init, diba? And secure the ends. Secure the ends of the sides with the soil. Ako lang sa ano. So again, secure the ends and the sides with soil and make holes 30 to 50 centimeter apart using heated tin cans. So yung mga circle, yun. And the plastic mulch can be used for up to 4 croppings without being removed from the plant. So that could save up labor, no, and time. So for the planting, for 1 hectare, it requires 40 kilograms of seeds for the pole type, both and bush type. So you have to apply basal fertilizer of organic or inorganic fertilizer and directly sow 2 to 3 seeds per hill at a distance of 30 by 30 centimeter between hills and cover lightly with soil and apply mulch using grass clippings of rice straw. So if plastic mulch is to be used, you can directly sow 2 to 3 seeds per hole doon sa ginawan mo ng holes, no, and cover lightly with soil. So another important practice is the trellising, no, for pole types not being construct A-type or fence-type trellis using bamboo sticks or rono or wire number 16 and abaca or plastic twine for its vine development. So makita niyo mamaya sa video. So you again apply for the general recommendation for snap beans is 135 kilogram nitrogen and phosphorus and 112 kilograms potassium. However, it is very important that you do soil analysis para mas exact siya. And so apply 2 to 3 tons per hectare well-decomposed chicken manure in order to contribute 40 to 60 kilogram of the NPK and macronutrients, or apply 3 bags per hectare of the complete basal fertilizer and another again 3 bags at side rest 30 days after planting naman. So you can also supplement with pea manure and fermented plant shoots, not to improve its soil fertility. And to prepare it, you have here the instruction. So irrigation is also very important. No, throughout the growing period, water the plants regularly para ma-enhance yung flowering and pod setting. And avoid too much water that can cause root rot, of course. So, pag too little water naman, it can also result to flower and pod drop. So, to manage the weeds regularly from planting up to the 3rd week, you can heal up after 3 to 4 weeks to cover the side rest fertilizer and to suppress weed growth. So regular spot weeding is recommended, but a minimum level of weed growth may be followed along the alleys to protect the soil. So healing up is not necessary when plastic mulch is used already, no? Since you can suppress the growth of your weeds already if you have plastic. So to continue, we have our how to manage our pests and diseases. So for the pests, we have bean fly. You can spray soap solution and at 4 tablespoons soap per 16-liter water, or spray insecticide like permethrin, cypermethrin, and others. So for aphids naman, you can spray with hot pepper extract for 100 gram macerated hot pepper per 16-liter water and soap solution. Or yes, you just use chemicals like cypermethrin, penvalerate, or deltamethrin. For leafhopper, you use sacrificial crops like okra or spray with soap solution or metarhizium to and this is how to prepare the metarhizium, no? You have their instruction. So for pod borer naman, you can grow repellent crops such as basil, onion, and marigold, or spray with Bacillus thuringiensis or nuclear polyhedrosis virus, or chemicals like such as cypermethrin or others. And for leaf miner, conserve natural enemies like spiders, lacewings, and syrphid flies can be used, or at the last resort, if necessary, you can spray also cyromazine or cartap hydrochloride, no, based on recommended rates. So for the diseases, we have anthracnose. You can use resistant varieties such as the B21. And it's very important to remove the source of inoculum and spray the fungicides such as mancozeb, as last resort. And we also have bacterial blight. You can spray copper-based fungicides, and bean rust, use resistant varieties such as Blue Lake, B21, and Taichu. And remove and burn infected leaves. So for the fusarium root rot, you can use resistant varieties such as B21 and Taichu. And it's very important that you grow snap bean in a well-drained soil and practice crop rotation para ma-prevent yung crops preferred, no? With crops preferred, practice crop rotation with crops preferred na in the market, except sa mga legumes, since magka-family lang sila. So the recommended varieties that are resistant to tolerant to anthracnose, bean rust, and fusarium rot are B21, Blue Lake, and Taichu. And you can apply chemicals as last resort. And also preventive measures such as crop rotation and planting of pest repellent crops and trap crops and attractants of beneficial insects. And follow strictly recommended spacing para may good air circulation between plants, and remove infected plant parts and road severely infected plants. So kailangan alisin yung mga infected plants na. And apply botanical pesticide as well, no, as such as hot pepper spray and soap solution. So after 60 to 70 days after planting, you can now harvest your full snap bean, no, and depending din sa pod diameter and toughness of which is permitted in the market. So you can handpick every 3 to 5 days for up to 10 times. So ganun ka ang schedule niya. Kadami. So you can harvest for 10 days. So for bush snap bean can be harvested as early naman as 55 to 60 days after planting, or 2 weeks after flowering opening and the appropriate pod thickness required by the market. So bush snap beans is stringless, while pole snap bean is more fibrous. So it's also very important that you harvest in the morning, 6 to 8 a.m. before the heat of the sun gets too intense para ma-avoid yung ating weight loss. And pods should be well formed, straight, bright in color, fresh in appearance, tender but firm and crispy. So it's also very important that after harvest, you have standard post-harvest handling and classify them as marketable or non-marketable. Marketable are graded or sorted according to size and quality. We have the first grade pods. They are unblemished, tender, straight, long, and at the right maturity. While the second grade pods are short, have minimal blemish and distortion, and slightly over the picking stage. So those unselected pods are considered non-marketable but can still be consumed. And optimal storage condition are ranging from 5 to 7.5 degrees Celsius and 95 to 100% relative humidity. For packing, you pack pods in bamboo baskets lined with available local materials such as newspaper or banana leaves, or plastic sacks such as polyethylene bags or mga bayong, or also suitable for packing pods, no? And this can be transported to distant markets with minimal weight loss lang when packed in thick line crates. So these are sold in local market with Manila actually as the main outlet. Wholesalers and retailers can handle the distribution to other provinces outlets now. And seed production is also being done since this is an orthodox seed. So this is sapling is also self-pollinated. So you just select plants that are vigorous and free of damage from pests and diseases. So at the 90 to 100 days, that is later than the harvesting for marketing, but for seed production, it's of course longer. So from sowing, you harvest dry pods and extract seeds, yung dry na talaga ng mga beans, no? And sun dry to around 10% moisture content, and put some seed inside a plastic bag and place under the sun. So if by condensation pa din, again, 20 to 30 minutes or more depending on how intense the heat of the sun, we continue to dry them, no, and pack them in moisture-proof containers and store in a cool, dry place. If properly stored, this will last for 2 years na viable pa din, no? So that's for the seed production. And for how much do we need for as capital? So we have a labor cost of 40,000 plus, materials are 65,000 plus with interest amounting to 116,000 plus. So for fixed costs, it's overall total cost of 128,000 plus. But your gross income and net income for regular season would range from 160,000 and regular season 31,000 net income. So medyo malaki-laki din siya, no? But for off-season, medyo lumiit yung inyong production or yung inyong kita, no? From 20 tons, naging 10 tons na lang siya kasi off-season siya eh. It's not ganon siya ka, season. So 150,000 lang and 21,000 plus na net income. So I guess yun lang for snap bean production. Do you have any questions or clarification before we proceed with our video presentation? Anyone? Do you have any questions or clarification? Ay, nawala ata yung aking inopen kanina. Yung agree tayo. So wala nang tanong, Sir Jay.
Ma'am, naminaw ko kanina, ma'am. Yun lang gamay kay...
But Grammarly can help.
Ano, ma'am?
This sentence is grammatically correct.
Okay.
Sa pagtatanim po ng
So okay lang. And so for at this point then we're going to watch this video for the string beans or sitaw.
sitaw, karamihan po sa mga binhi po ng sitaw ay tinatawag po nating open pollinated. Na kung saan po ito pong mga tinawag na open pollinated, pwede po nating pagkuhaan po ng buto ulit para sa susunod po na pagtatanim. Pero hindi po sa lahat ng pagkakataon ay laging bibigyan tayo ng mas magandang ani. Mainam pa rin po na tayo ay bumili ng certified seeds ng sitaw. Ang pamamaraan po ng pagtatanim ng sitaw o bawat tudling, ang pagitan po ay 30 sentimetro ang pagitan ng bawat hukay. Maglagay po tayo ng isang buto kada isang hukay. Pwede po tayo maglaro sa 1 metro o 1.5 metro ang pagitan po ng bawat rows o linya. Kailangan po natin na magpare-parehas po ang pagtanggap ng mga nutrient o sustansya na nanggagaling sa lupa. Kailangan din po ang ventilation o yung pare-parehas na pagtanggap ng light o sinag na nanggagaling sa sikat ng araw para ang ibibigay niyang bunga ay pare-parehas. Sa pagdidilig, nire-recommenda po namin na tuwing ikatatlong araw ang pagdidilig ng sitaw. Wala pong masyadong required na abono sa sitaw dahil nga ito yung tinatawag nating green fixing bacteria, yung tinatawag nating sariling pataba sa pamamagitan ng kanilang nodule. At ang pang-maintain lang po sa sitaw ay ang pag-spray ng mga foliar na nakakatulong na magpadami ng bunga. 2 linggo pamula itanim o pagkahulog ng buto sa lupa, kailangan po nating mag-establish po ng trellis o itong pagapangan ng mga sitaw. At meron po tayong tinatawag na mas madali po na tinatawag nating trellising net. At available po ito sa Allied Botanical Corporation. Ang buhay po ng sitaw, pamula pagkahulog sa lupa o pagkatanim, dahil ito ay direct seeding, direct planting, ay umaabot po ng hanggang 75 days. At binibigyan tayo ng hanggang 20 beses na tayo ay makapagpitas ng bunga. Pag-aanin ng sitaw ay tuwing ika-2 araw. So every other day. Pagbuka ng bulaklak, hanggang ika-12 araw, yun po yung timing po ng pagpitas ng bunga ng sitaw. Kung ang bunga ay kasing liit na ng daliri ng bata, yun na po yung pwede nating palatandaan na pwede nang pitasin ang bunga po ng sitaw. Bago bumukol ang buto, best timing po na pamula po alas 6 ng umaga hanggang alas 9 ng umaga ang pinakang best time ng pagpitas ng bunga para maiwasan po natin yung matindi pong init o pagkalanta o para hindi maiwasan ang paglambot ng mga bunga po ng mga sitaw.
Okay, so that's for pole beans or string beans, no? And we also have another one for snap beans. Let's have a look.
Whether you are planting your first vegetable garden or have years of experience behind you, growing snap beans should be at the top of your garden to-do list. Dependable and easy to care for, snap beans are also among the most productive veggies you can grow. Snap beans mature quickly, too, and almost everyone, including kids, loves fresh snap beans. Are all snap beans alike? Not at all. Snap beans come in a huge range of sizes and colors, because any immature bean with pods that taste good when snapped into pieces is a snap bean. Snap beans vary in growth habit, too. Pole-type beans such as asparagus bean need a sturdy tall trellis to hold the plants. Bush-type beans such as Blue Lake need less upfront setup and are fast and easy to pick. They are good for spaces where you don't have the height for a bean trellis. Soil, planting, and care. Snap beans are easy to grow in any warm, well-drained soil, but they must have warmth. Wait until after your last frost has passed to set out the plants, then space them about 8 inches apart. A double row, in which 2 rows of plants are grown with 12 inches between the rows, will produce the most beans per square foot. For a steady harvest all summer, set out a second set of plants 3 to 4 weeks after your first planting. Before setting out the plants, mix a 3-inch layer of compost into the soil. When given a little starter fertilizer and biologically active compost, beans usually need no further feeding. By teaming up with bacteria in the soil, beans create their own nitrogen, the most important nutrient plants require if they are to make strong new growth. Keep beans weeded, and mulch over the spaces between plants to conserve moisture and reduce problems with weeds. Mulch also helps keep the pods clean, which is a terrific convenience with snap beans. Troubleshooting. New garden beds made in areas that were previously covered with grass often host a hidden danger for snap beans. Cutworms. These earth-colored caterpillars are active at night, and often kill seedlings by girdling their main stems, making them look like little felled trees. The easiest way to prevent cutworm damage is to encircle each plant with a rigid collar as soon as it is transplanted. To make cutworm collars, cut an 8 to 10 ounce plastic cup or similar size container into 3-inch tall rings. Pop them around the plants, making sure you push them into the soil about an inch deep. Another easy way to prevent cutworm damage is to use small strips of aluminum foil to sheathe the base of each stem. After snap beans have been growing in your garden for a couple of weeks, their stems become so tough that cutworms can no longer damage them. Slugs and snails often make holes in bean leaves, and Japanese beetles like to eat leaves, too. Slugs are easily trapped in shallow containers filled with beer or a mixture of sugar, water and yeast. Or you can treat the area with a slug bait approved for food gardens in order to bring serious infestations under control. Products that use iron phosphate as their active ingredient are considered organic. Use row covers to protect plants from Japanese beetles. Snap bean pods that dangle to the ground can rot, but mulch helps prevent this. Harvest and storage. You may pick snap beans when they are very young and serve them as baby snap beans, or you can wait until they reach full size for a more bountiful harvest. Use 2 hands to pick, because heavily laden bean stems are easily broken. Don't yank on the pods. Hold the stem in one hand and pick with the other. Pick every other day when the beans begin bearing to make sure that they produce to their full potential. Healthy bush bean plants will often rebloom and produce a second, or third, flush of beans when growing conditions are especially good. Blanching and freezing is the easiest way to preserve a bumper crop of snap beans. Blanch them in boiling water for 1 minute and then quickly cool them in ice water. This process brightens and fixes their color while preserving the crisp texture of the pods.
Okay, so that would be all for our snap bean production. Do you have any question or clarification? Anyone? So kayo ba nakatanom na mo aning snap bean or string beans? Anyone?
String beans lang, ma'am.
So, kasi masulti nimo, is it kaya ra? It's just 2 months, diba?
Kaya raman siya, ma'am. Dali ra itanong, ma'am.
Ang paghimo lang yun sa first string beans, paghimo lang sa sa trellis.
O kanang kuha lang yun, pang kapital lang yun sa pang palit sa mga mulching o sa katayanan.
So, dako inyong yuta? Or sa backyard lang? Okay, so do you have any questions or clarification? So I guess pag wala na, then that would be all for this week. Next meeting, we're going to discuss the last lesson, which is the sweet pepper production. And I hope to see you again next meeting. Thank you, napaday tomato. So thank you, everyone. And I hope to see you again next week. Happy weekends. Ay, dili pa dahil Friday pa dahil ugma. But we're going to see each other next week. So if you have questions in mind later, so i-chat lang sa chat box sa tong Facebook group and Facebook chat group. So again, thank you and bye-bye.